In a world presented before a live internet audience, this is Jupiter at Night.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Jupiter at Night. My name is Chris.
My name is Jeremy.
Now, today's episode is really sort of like a Casta Blasta light. If you're a long-time Jupiter Broadcasting fan, you'll get that reference. But it's really going to be all about Comic-Con.
Yep, started today.
Story. That's the big story today.
We gotta admit, we're kind of geeks for this kind of stuff. So
before we get into everything so cool that came out today, because there was a lot of neat stuff, why don't we just really clearly say, since we're filming this on a Thursday, there could be some stuff that comes out later, but as of yet, there's a few things that we haven't seen yet that we were hoping to see.
Yeah, I'm really... let's go right into that stuff.
Yeah,
this is a few of the stuff that I am still waiting to see in Comic-Con. I'm hoping it splashes this weekend, but I'm already a little upset we haven't seen a new Hulk announcement.
Yeah, we've heard that what's-his-face is out, Edward Norton.
Yep.
But we haven't seen who's going to be replacing him. There's been no information. We thought we might at least get the tease of the actor. Mm-hmm. If nothing else, and maybe some few basic movie details.
They haven't really done their big unveiling of the Avengers thing. They've done little bits and little concept art, so that might still be coming. Mm-hmm. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know the whole story behind Edward Norton, we're not going to go through it all, but I put a link in our show notes. You can check it out from start to bottom. Keep yourself updated on how that all happened.
I particularly liked the new Hulk movie, but I wasn't so hooked on it that it really tore me up.
So much better than the one before it, though.
So much better.
So much.
All right, what else came out? Or I guess I should say, what else hasn't come out? But we're hoping
hasn't come out. We haven't heard anything about the new World of Warcraft movie. This is the perfect place to talk about it.
Yeah, it really is.
And nothing. Now, we did get a little bit from Chris Metzen not too long ago, basically saying the project is still moving forward. Chris Metzen runs Blizzard.
Okay.
And he's just basically saying it's still moving forward.
Okay.
But this is something I mentioned. He also said in that question, somebody just said, are you still doing the World of Warcraft movie? And he said, yeah. And Sam Raimi is very passionate about the project.
Oh, right. And I always say, when those that's like PR speak for like, you didn't ask me this question, but I really want to make sure I get this message across.
Yeah.
And then I'm always like, well, why are you trying to message that so hard? So maybe you're trying to deflect what the reality is there. It's always suspicious.
I have a feeling that maybe Sam Raimi is working on other projects right now, and they didn't want to make it sound like he's abandoning the world.
But he's really excited to get back to it.
He is honestly really into Warcraft, though. There was an article that came out a few weeks ago where he's like got raiding characters. He raids every weekend. He's into it. So
he's a good person to make a World of Warcraft movie.
I agree. But that's why I'm so excited. I was waiting for the news. They didn't do anything.
Any news on the Transformers movie?
No. And they've got a huge presence there on the floor, with big statues and everything.
But they're not necessarily relevant to anything new. They're just sort of like, hey, we didn't forget about Comic-Con. We just have nothing to tell you.
Right.
Yet, at least. Maybe we will. We haven't
Come on.
seen. This didn't necessarily come out at Comic-Con, but it kind of fits with all of this, and it's a little bit of a downer.
I wanted to hear something about Bond, but
we're
not going to hear anything about Bond.
And it's too bad, because I really thought the last Bond movie was setting up the following Bond movie to be epic. Like, I felt like the payoff for the second one wasn't going to be delivered till the next one, and now we're not getting that.
We had this discussion off the air previously that basically by getting rid of Bond 23, you've made Bond 22 one of the worst Bond movies ever.
So it's pretty much due to the failure of the rapid failure of MGM. They've just killed the franchise for now. Mm-hmm. There's no plans.
There's no
epic.
Yeah. Daniel Craig's contract was released. It's done. It's over. There are no Bonds coming.
It makes my heart sad.
It does me too, as well. I think that I was on board with this whole reboot that they were doing, and I was really waiting for them to ramp up. This third movie in the trilogy was going to make Bond into the Bond that we knew and loved.
Right.
But by cutting it off,
you just kind of got like Bond in mid-transition of becoming Bond,
and
he was Bond.
By the end of the second movie, he was nobody. He was on his way to learning that he had to become something else.
Yeah.
Bad move. And
agreement, sir. Agreement.
We also haven't heard anything about the next Batman movie. Not even like, you expect at this kind of thing that they're going to come out and say something like, the next villain is going to be...
Yeah, tease the villain, right?
Right.
Yeah, I could see that. Nothing yet.
Nothing yet. Maybe later this weekend.
That's my personal favorite. I'd really like to hear a little more. I love the last two Batman movies a ton. Mm-hmm. This would be a great time to give me just a little nugget.
And also in the DC universe, we have started getting a little more information about the Green Lantern movie.
Yeah.
We know that Ryan Reynolds,
who's usually a comedy actor.
Yeah. So I have my hesitations about that, but honestly, not much of a Green Lantern fan anyway. But a lot of people have been waiting to see if they were going to get more information about the story, the villains, the everything. Again, Green Lantern's got a big presence on the floor.
I think it's going to be good. I think I don't remember who it was, but it was like a director in a commentary once said that after all his years, he's found sometimes comedians make the best actors because in order to always be funny on the spot in a movie, you just have to be a terrific actor. So that you can a lot of
people are taking that same chance on Seth Rogen in the Green Hornet.
Yep. And really, honestly, the pre-production shots that I've seen don't look so bad.
Yeah, they look pretty decent.
Yeah.
A lot of people are wanting more information. They figured that it was far enough along that this could be their big press blitz weekend, and nothing so far.
Now,
maybe more later, but who knows?
We did get a little movie tease news about...
let's go back to the Marvel Universe for the big news of the weekend.
So far, for me, I think one of the biggest stories coming out of Comic-Con, unquestionably, Joss Whedon is confirmed to be directing the new Avengers movie.
Joss Whedon, if you guys don't know, is the brains behind Dollhouse, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, Firefly, Serenity. So he's got some big names under his belt, but also a lot of names that have let people down over the years.
Dollhouse.
Yes.
Dollhouse, yeah. I got to imagine the main reaction probably from everyone out there is got to be really excited. I've been watching, this story just skyrocketed on Dig this evening. It's just all over the place. I personally, I have a little bit of reservations. I huge Firefly fan, huge Serenity fan. I've never really been able to get that much into Buffy or Angel.
Yeah.
And I really struggled with Dollhouse. I was on and off. In fact, I don't even know if I finished Dollhouse. I just kind of lost interest.
Yeah, same here.
Really?
And Dollhouse is the only reason that I'm very hesitant about jumping on board and being excited about this. But Whedon has a lot going for him in this arena. He's got an extensive background of being a comic book geek and a comic book writer.
And really well-loved comics. So, and he's making a comic movie.
In the comic book genre, he has recently stepped into already established storylines and just kind of fleshed them into things that people have continued to love. So he's got that background of being able to take something that's already established, like the Iron Man movie, the Captain America movie, and Thor that are coming.
He gets to pull from those well-established franchises, but the Avengers movie itself is an entirely new franchise. We were talking a little pre-show. You look at when Batman Begins came out. It wasn't the first Batman movie we'd ever seen by a long shot, and so there was some pre-expectations already there of what a Batman movie has to be like. Whereas Joss Whedon could take something like the Avengers, and I forget who mentioned it to us. I think it was someone in the chat room. Joss Whedon's could go something like a Lord of the Rings epic 3-part trilogy style if he wanted to, because there's nothing set up ahead of time that says it has to be this format of a movie.
Well,
he won't be able to do that, I don't think, but God, that'd be cool.
He's going to be under some constraints because remember, the Avengers movie is going to be feeding off of Iron Man, the Hulk, Thor, and Captain America. Those same actors and same characters and same universes are going to be the same ones.
If Marvel
in the
pulls
Avengers
this off,
movie.
If they pull off bringing separate movies together into one movie, but then still also running those separate movies with their own character stories, this is going to be a total delight for movie fans that can watch
comic book fans.
It's just story on top of story.
It's creating, rather than just a single movie franchise that you can follow from beginning to end,
an interconnected world.
You're creating a universe of things that you can follow
in the movie format. I mean, we've seen this in, I guess you could kind of claim Star Trek to this a little bit. At one point, they had Voyager, DS9, and the Next Gen on the air. But you've never really seen it in a movie layout that I know of. I've never heard of a movie format like that.
No.
So that's exciting.
Well, I think the only ones recently that have tried it is like with the Wolverine movie. They kind of spun off of the X-Men movies.
True.
And tried to kind of flesh out that side of the universe. Massive failure. It was a horrible movie.
Other really epic movie news coming out of Comic-Con is the TRON Legacy trailer. Are you excited about this, dude?
I am. I was excited to hear more about this early on, and after seeing today's trailer, it's a brand new trailer today, I'm giddy.
Can I tell you that I was getting more and more nervous as time goes on, but watching this trailer pretty much reset me. I'm not freaking out about it as much anymore. I'm okay. It looks really good. I'm going to let it play ahead a little bit because I want to show you guys some of the special effects. They look incredible. You had mentioned that Jeff Bridges in here, there's a scene where he just looks... It's the anti-reverse aging magic that they use on this guy.
Yeah, they made him look 35 years old again. Let me see if I can just fast forward us.
There's just a little there's that uncanny valley I found like in his forehead that might be a little distracting during the movie, but
I've watched this trailer probably 5 or 6 times
now.
There
he is if you're watching the video version.
And every single time I watch it, I look for this clip and I'm just going to be quiet and let you watch it real quick.
There's no sound.
I know, but
it is epic.
There's
even
something about his face that makes my brain go, that's not a real face.
His eyes and his eyebrows or something aren't moving correctly.
Something.
Yeah.
But it's not even something that I can actually identify.
But it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. I mean,
probably
that's how
some of the best CG face work I've seen to date.
A lot of the CG in this looks fantastic. So excited again about this movie. I know you guys out in the audience are probably excited about this. If you're not, leave us a comment and tell us why. I
got to admit that TRON, way back in the day when I first saw it, is what made me get into video games. I mean, this was one of my breaking points. Up to there, I had played a little bit of Pac-Man and the early video games and stuff. But when I saw somebody finally envisioning the idea of stepping into a video game world, that just launched a whole new brain side of me.
Is this a direct continuation of the first movie, or is it a...
Jeff Bridges' character here is still Flynn, the original character. The other, the guy that looks like a young Jeff Bridges is a computer program that I think that they say later on that he created after he was sucked back into the world.
Pretty trippy.
Yeah, I don't know the full storyline. So the younger looking Jeff Bridges is actually a program. It's not a human. But the older looking Jeff Bridges is still the old Flynn from the original
and it's going to be in
TRON.
This could be a movie to see in 3D. That could be the movie to see.
Yeah. Those visuals, I think that they would work in 3D.
Now, shifting gears, going from a movie and comic franchise into a video game format, there's been some news about, or I guess not news. Is this the announcement of the Legacy? It's Legacy Play for the DC Universe.
Legend Play. Yeah.
Legend Play. That's what it is.
DC Universe is an MMO that'll be coming out next year. I forget the exact release date, but it is announced. So if you're curious, we'll have a link to that in our show notes. But they've announced this new PvP system that'll allow you to finally play as the primary DC hero characters like Batman, Robin, that are in the picture right there, as well as the DC villains like Joker and Poison Ivy and stuff like that.
That's cool. So you get to be like a bad guy too. Mm-hmm. But you only get to play the classic franchise characters when you're doing player versus player combat.
It's these specific PvP arena matches that are set aside, and that's why the whole system is not just called like Avatar Play or something like that. It's Legend Play, and it's a whole arena PvP system. The idea is that in most MMOs, in order to have a good PvP experience, you have to sacrifice something from PvE. Either your character build or extra time or something like that.
Environment.
Right. But in this game,
what he means by that is you might need to build up certain character skill sets that would make you a better player in that scenario, which would leave you handicapped in player versus player because that requires a different set of skills.
Exactly. You have to play in smarter, different ways when you're playing against other players.
So the idea is here you have one character, which is your normal character for regular gameplay, and then when you go do player versus player, you have a special character who's a DC icon.
I think that what they probably did this as a fan service. They wanted to find a way to have players of DC Universe be able to play as Batman, as Green Lantern, as Superman if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But you couldn't do it in such a way that it wouldn't introduce a massive imbalance.
I don't have any interest as playing as anyone but the DC iconic superheroes, and so the fact that I only get to play them while doing PvP to me is a real bummer.
It is a little bit of a bummer, I think.
Not only that, but like we were just playing a little Alien Swarm for review on Legend of the Stoned Owl, and I honestly did not really take advantage of switching my guys because I am so used to now just building up this character.
You want to be the hero.
I want to be this
central
person. I want to be that person.
Yeah.
And if I'm switching characters, I don't get into one character. I gotta, it's just one. I'm moving from one robot to the other robot.
But if you think about it, you can't do that in an MMO environment, really. I mean, Captain Pike, your character in Stowe, is not the central figure in the universe. Your Champions Online characters were never the central universe.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So if they had to find a way to be able to give people that experience without imbalancing or ruining the MMO experience.
That's true. I guess you get to play for a little while as like a central person of the whole universe.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I'm not a fan of PvP. I'll just come out and flat out say that. But this could get me to play.
I'm with you, dude.
If I could strap on Batman's cape and
I'd
team up with the Boy Wonder here.
Wait a minute. Maybe I'm gonna be.
Actually, no. That's a neat
Catwoman for all you know.
If you do play as a hero and their sidekick, you get special combination moves that can synergize with one another
in PvP.
Yeah,
so you can team up together while you're doing player.
So you can choose to either like do a PvP map as let's say Batman and Superman, or we could be Batman and Robin and have special powers together.
That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could just play just that. We'll find out. There's 2 quick stories we're gonna wrap the evening with here, and one of them is I'm sure everybody's really excited about this. Pirates of the Caribbean 4. Caribbean? Do you say Caribbean or Caribbean?
I call it just Pirates.
Oh, okay.
Because what other pirate movie is there?
Yeah. Geez, I'm not excited about this at all, and it's also going to be in 3D. And
surprise me!
I had an adorable little prediction here, and I don't know if I'd like to hear you guys' comments on this.
Do it. Put it on the internet. Then it makes it official.
So one of the things that's sort of the grabby grab about the new Pirates movies, it's going to be in 3D. They're telling us. I think now this isn't going to be out until May of 2011.
So almost a full year from now.
And I think that by that time, if Pirates 3D sucks, I think it's going to kill 3D in the theaters because there already is a lot of bad buzz because it reduces the picture quality, it darkens the picture because you're putting something between your eyes and the light bouncing off the screen. You reduce the amount of light that can make it to your eyes, so you don't see as much as the picture. That's just physics.
On that subject, I think that's one of the reasons that Avatar ended up looking so good in 3D because they had a very stylistic, bright, luminescent shooting style to the whole world of Pandora.
I would not be...
You can't get away with that.
Yeah, because Pirates is, you're inside a boat and there's caves.
Or you're going to be out on the sea, or...
They tease zombies in this movie. What do you think of that?
Well, there were zombies in the first one, technically, sort of.
Penelope
But when
Cruz?
you come out and say zombies...
What about Penelope Cruz?
Meh. The last good movie I saw Penelope Cruz in was that Tom Cruise movie, Vanilla Sky.
Whoa.
That was a long time ago. And even that wasn't a great movie. I just liked it because it was a good way to do dreams.
My last note about that is I think that 3D might be on its last legs, and Pirates will hit in 3D. And if it doesn't do well, if the 3D doesn't, I'm sure Pirates will do fine. But if the 3D isn't received well, I think that'll be the death knell.
I'm not convinced that Pirates will do fine.
Really? I mean, it just seems like it always does well.
It's a Disney movie, and they're going to put a lot of money into it. And Johnny Depp's on board, so it'll carry some weight. But I don't know. Pirates 3 was bad. Pirates 2 was meh.
Yeah.
So
you were a Pirates 1 fan?
Yeah, it was a pretty fun film, but I think
Fair
it
enough.
should have just stood on its own at that. I don't think that it needed to be a franchise.
Last story of the evening, the last quick story is G4 TV has gotten the rights to 4 Marvel animated series. We're going to have a little Blade action, Iron Man action, Wolverine, and X-Men cartoons.
So, Wolverine and X-Men?
That's what it said, yeah.
I wonder if those two will interact with each other in any way. Because you can't have X-Men without Wolverine.
No.
I wonder if they'll have... what's the word? When they're 2 stories at the same time?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We were just talking about with the movies.
Yeah, and the Wolverine one went so well there, right?
The details are really, really early.
Are these the same ones, do you know, that are being animated by a Japanese studio? I think one of the X-Men movies... animation series is already out in Japan. I could be wrong about that. That could be a different series.
Check this out.
Tangentially related, there's already a Japanese animated Thundercats coming. And when they do the American voices for it, they're going to use the original Lion-O.
No.
Yeah.
That's cool. This is a little interesting bit of news nugget, in my opinion, coming out of this G4 story here. The guy that kind of helped set this up on Marvel's end of it, the guy that worked the deal out with G4, his name is Joseph Loeb or something like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's not his name. I might have his name wrong. But here's what's interesting. This is the part that I actually think matters.
Here's a fact.
He was the Heroes showrunner, the NBC show Heroes.
Oh.
He recently either left his job or was fired and moved to Marvel's new TV studio department. And that's where he began working with G4 to set this up. So this guy used to be the showrunner for Heroes. Kind of a little interesting tie-in there. And then now he's working for Marvel. And
here are my thoughts on that.
I think that's neat.
Heroes is a bad show. It was a good show to start with, and then it just steadily went downhill.
Yep.
And every time we thought that they were going to turn it around,
they didn't.
Mm-hmm. If this guy is any part of that...
Well, I don't think so. I think he was more of the network operations and
I got to assume that since Marvel hired him as soon as he left that project for whatever reason, that he probably wasn't the reason behind that.
The showrunner is more doesn't really have much to do with the storyline or the the production end, but more of like the working with the studios and the rights and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
kind of
I guess it gives him good hands-on experience with a big project.
It does, and with television specifically.
Yep. So we could have ourselves a semi-decent cartoon. I don't really think they're marketing me. I think it's going to be probably for a younger audience, but it's something to watch if you're I love those old X-Men cartoons.
Me too.
Those were awesome.
There's only like 2 seasons of those, weren't there? It didn't run for very long.
I've got them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. All right. Well, Jupiter Night is Monday through Thursday. That means this is our Friday because why not? That's awesome. So we'll be back Monday night, and if there's been any awesome Comic-Con news, we'll probably cover it then.
I have a few links in our show notes for easy ways for you guys to keep up to date on the Comic-Con happenings as they roll out, taken by a few major websites.
Now, if you get lonely Friday night when there's no Jupiter Night, remember you can always watch the back catalog over at jupiterbroadcasting.com. And there's also the forum over at jupitercolony.com if you'd like to give us any suggestions. That's about it for this episode.
That's about it for this week.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Okay, everyone. Well, until Monday evening, we'll see you then.